Hello, and welcome to our vlog box channel. How you doing, Helgi?
I'm good.
That's good.
We just received our first request for a blog.
Oh yeah, we did actually, but we haven't been able to complete it. Only because we haven't looked at the book just yet. It's a book.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, what one are you talking about then?
I can review this book right now.
Okay,
it's
do it.
crappy. It has the title is too long. What's the title?
There's something to do about media.
Don't even remember the title.
Yeah, it was quite
Just
a
too
long title.
descriptive, too long. Nobody can be bothered to read it.
Just because of the titles, you think?
Yeah. The only people that read it are people that like given it in school. Like
Yeah,
here,
the guy
you have to
did
buy
mention,
this book.
But he did mention that the book, that he was reviewing it with his kids in a class.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's why the title's a little bit long, because it is for maybe educational reasons or learning some sort.
Yeah, well, obviously.
But
isn't it about like the future of the internet and
yeah, media, blogging,
yeah,
and so forth. But I think he's probably asked us to do it because we are doing blogs, and maybe we are part of that. And
yeah,
how the people's social environments are changing from TV, news to just, watching channels such as YouTube, Twitter.
yeah, but you don't have to read a boring book to know that.
Yeah, I think that's true. You
live
probably
in this
kind of
society.
already know a little bit about it, how things are changing in the world. But that was his book. I don't know, maybe we can do a proper in-depth review about it another time, but for now we will just continue with our channel.
Yeah.
But it was good to have someone review our channel and actually make some comments and
that's true.
ask for a request. So that was really nice.
But
Thank
the
you for that.
request we got was
It was out of our sort of like main subjects of what we kind of tend to review, isn't it? I would say.
well, but the request we got, not the request you're talking about, but the one we're here to talk about, is a person asked what it was like to be in an interracial relationship in Iceland.
Oh yeah, in Iceland, that's true actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't live together in Iceland,
No.
but we have spent some time there together.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was a little bit upset because I've seen like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and I've like my whole life I've grown up like just thinking about the time if I'm ever in an interracial relationship, if I'm ever with a black person, how nice it would be to like overcome the obstacles and like stick with
So
it
you
despite society fighting back and like screaming at you and like,
so you wanted
what are you
to feel
like going to a restaurant and people look at you like, oh, what are you doing here?
Are you trying to say you wanted to be part of a revolution where you're making a change? Because
Well, obviously.
you could be one of those token, let's say, white people that's saying, I like all different races.
Yeah.
Because here's one that I'm with. Is that what you're trying to say? You wanted to be part of that group where it made a change.
Yeah.
But do you not feel like you're still making a change? It's just that it's not an activist change anymore. It's just a change where we're just two people
like,
in the street.
It's like every other YouTube channel. It's an interracial couple.
That's true, but then I noticed that is actually a change, because I've noticed there are so many more people who are actually going onto YouTube who are couples that are of mixed different races. So there is still something happening underground, because why are we not seeing these people in day-to-day life? It's not every day that you
we
go
are,
out and
I
see.
think.
But it's not. You don't see that many actually mixed couple, like in Iceland, obviously.
You think
they
they just stay in and
London,
make YouTube videos?
No, but what I'm trying to say, their voice is heard more on YouTube channels. I think people are watching YouTube to see what it's like to be with a couple who are different, and then just trying to understand that. Because you don't walk up to a couple in the street and go, oh, you're Chinese, you're black, or how does that work?
No,
What's going on there?
You say you're blazing. You're a blazing couple.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not going to try and ask how does the culture difference, how both families reacted to it. So I think you're still making a difference with us being a couple, and then now that we are, we've joined the YouTube group.
Community.
Sort of. Yeah, we're in a community. So you are still making that little difference, I guess. It's just a different way. It's just the millennium difference rather than being on the streets protesting.
But my
silent
point is, like, it's not really a struggle to be in an interracial relationship, which is of course good.
Why?
Of course, because it's
because
why is it not a struggle?
Why?
Because I haven't noticed anything. Like we've been in Iceland,
yeah,
and like I once went with a black friend of mine who's a girl. I took her to cuteeeeeeeeeeeeeeeee to a dance, and a guy came up to her and said, "It's a nice girl you have there, but she's the wrong color."
He said that.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I think I remember you telling me this when I went.
And
there,
this was like,
and you expected something to happen.
and this was like 5 or 10 years before that.
Yeah.
But now when you came, everybody was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Can I touch you?" Like it's still racism, but it's the nice kind. It's
yeah, but
kind,
isn't that good?
It's the positive
maybe
kind.
it's just because.
Yeah, well,
it's my hair, obviously.
Yeah,
I think that's
well,
what did it. The
you
glow
are
of
nice.
the natural hair just sort of makes everyone fall in love.
Which is true. But I think it shows like that times have changed a little bit. We are more accepting, and like I think people even in cuteeeeeeeeeeeeee in Iceland are more used to seeing black people.
Yeah, which is good because it's quite far from the main downtown Reykjavik, which is it's a good thing then, isn't it?
Because it was very homogeneous, Iceland. It was like a news story a few years ago. If a black person came to a town, it was like it came in the newspaper.
Oh really? Oh yeah, and then actually, you know when you were telling me the story that your mum said when she saw. Was it the neighbour who had the car?
I don't know if I can talk about that.
Okay, maybe we can't talk about that. But that was quite funny when you told me
when
that.
When my mother saw a light in the car seat, I thought it was a black person. The only black person that lived in town.
And then she was scared of the neighbour. Oh well, you know.
Well, she's not scared of you.
That's what she's got to know now. So, but I didn't feel like even when I met your mum, and she obviously hasn't been around people of different colours in general, like so close to her family unit. I think she was quite welcoming to me at the end of the day, probably because she knew that this was something that you were really passionate about. She didn't want to sort of like present a negative side to it. Even though maybe in her head she wasn't happy, but I didn't feel that from her. I've always had like really positive energy from your mum.
I think she's just happy.
And your family as well. Even your dad, he was really polite when he welcomed us into his house with his wife or his
girlfriend.
His girlfriend, yeah. So I mean, they welcomed us as well. So I think we just haven't had people who have felt like this is disgusting, or want to actually say something negative to us in our faces. Well, I don't know, maybe it's just because we're both quite warm, easygoing people at the same time. Maybe
so people are stop being racist.
No, but I mean, if they see us and when we don't come across as arrogant or
well,
I don't know what it is, but
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty arrogant.
Sometimes we can be. But I don't know what it is, but I feel like when we have been about together, people have always just said nice things, even if people don't know us. So there must be something that they're seeing in us that they're like, oh, this looks nice, or they seem quite nice. Like they don't have that sense of just walk away from here or get out.
Yeah, like most people just say like, oh, you would have beautiful kids.
Yes, that's what they just say. But I don't know if that's the thing, just because it is that we're mixed. As in,
I think it's because
people might just say that.
I think it's because of that.
Yeah, possibly. That's like one of the stereotypes, though, isn't it? If you're in an interracial couple, they say that, oh, your kids are going to be amazing.
But the kids are amazing.
Well,
so it's not really a stereotype.
Yeah, but then it's I think it's just something that they always just say.
Yeah.
But I've seen some children and I haven't thought, wow, they're amazing. Well, that's just my personal
So you've seen ugly mixed kids.
Well, you see
that's what you're saying.
You see ugly kids from every sort of like. You see ugly kids sometimes in the perception of someone's view. You can see kids that you're a bit like, oh, okay.
I only see ugly white kids.
That baby's cute or sweet.
When I see an ugly kid, it's white.
No, ugly. No. I'm not saying that all babies are ugly, by the way, but there are some babies where you're just a bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah, some kids are ugly.
Yeah, but then some of the babies grow to be quite beautiful anyway, so it just starts off like that and then they end up being like flowers.
Yeah.
But then getting back on the subject, so the fact that we've never faced any sort of real adversity, do you feel like demoralised?
No.
Well, I think it's quite good. For me, I feel like...
I think it's Yeah, I think
it's nice
I
to
think
be
if you would live through the other thing, if you'd lived through adversity, you wouldn't wish that.
It would have been
Yeah,
terrible.
I think it's just romantic, just the idea of it, like being like Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think we need to maybe travel more than we might see.
Yeah, we could go to Russia. That's very racist, like Russia or Ukraine or the Eastern Europe. I think then.
No comment. But what I was gonna say is we could travel to those areas.
Yeah.
God forbidding, we could. But I think we've been to like France, we've been to Malta, we've been to Wales, we've been to a few areas that I would have thought that Malta, because we went to Ortiga, which isn't actually not Malta, it was Sicily, sorry. And we went to Ortiga, and that is very remote. And they do say that Italians and that side of the world tend to sometimes be a little bit negative because they're very village-like, and they just see their own people more so. They don't even see that many tourists, so it's people from other cultures coming in. But they were very nice to us in Ortiga.
But the Sicilians are darker, aren't they?
They're true, but we didn't get any. No one was looking at us or staring at us, and there was very few black people there. And I think the ones that were there, where you see where they come and selling like certain items, but they saw us as a couple. They didn't stare at us or throw anything at us, so I think that was quite good actually, having that experience in Sicily.
Yeah. And
it was a remote part of Sicily. It's not the main tourist area, and it was very nice. So there's love around the world. There is love.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're right. If we go to Russia, for instance, where they still have issues with people who are gay and people who want to make a change, that might be a bit of a contentious area, and I don't know if I would want to go to Russia, but I've heard good things about Russia.
But
it's a very nice country. Certain areas it is very beautiful.
But put in a comment, like if you want us to go to a racist place, we could go there and
we could go to a racist place and
do an experiment.
Have an experience of feeling like we're nothing and we should not be together just because we're a couple who love each other. Are we not in love, Helgi?
Yeah.
So maybe we could travel somewhere. If anyone wants to just give us a comment on that, we'll see.
Now we're going to Guns N' Roses.
Oh yeah, we're going to Guns N' Roses. That's our next venture. So till then, ciao.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Helgi, goodbye.
And ADANNA, goodbye.
Goodbye.